Hey, welcome back. Thank you guys for holding on to that brief introduction, say. But hey, that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? Keep it raw, real, and 100. So actually, yeah, we're just coming off the conversation about, raising, boys to become man, you know what I'm saying? And it just I just my mom, we give my mom credit for what she done. You know what I'm saying? And we also,
Absolutely.
tell her the flaws that she things she did wrong, but she don't want to hear that all the time. So, but at the same time, we learn to get over it. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
man, that Oh, by the way, a shout out to Man's Mental Health Month. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
so
Yep.
we had Mental Health Month, and I'm a mental health candidate. You know what I'm saying? I go to therapy. You know what I'm saying? Twice a week, and I'm learning a lot from it. You know what I'm saying? Like getting over those so-called generation, curses and stuff like that. And it helped me build a better relationship with my mom. You know what I'm saying? Forgiving her for the things that she
Absolutely.
know not what she done. You know what I'm saying? Because like, if you really look at people's lives back when they were, under the influences and stuff like that of, so they really don't know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? They really don't,
Yeah.
it's out of mind, out of sight sometimes with them. You know what I'm saying? So like, I had to learn how to, to really look at my mom's, her own upbringing as well, to be able to forgive her completely of what, how she raised me and my sisters, right? So it was just, I had to understand her upbringing. And that gave me a clarity of
Yeah.
like, wow, no wonder she was this way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at, if
Yeah.
you go back and look at your parents and that now you're, to relate with how you parent your kid, you'll see there's a big difference there. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Yeah.
use objects to hit my kids with, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's usually with a belt or my hand, you know what I'm saying? As they get older, it was like, a little belt. You know what I'm saying? But then like my mom was a extension cord, anything she could get her hands on, you know what I'm saying? She was trying to tear our
Yeah.
heads off. So, I mean, like it's hard for parents to just, adapt to a different system than what they were
Well,
brought up in. But
I'm glad you brought that up because I feel like something that, you know, I don't know if I want to say I've struggled with, but something that I've always tried to instill in my kids because you see these adults all the time walking around with chips on their shoulders, just totally leaning into being a victim of their upbringing or their circumstances and never, you know, taking responsibility for their own emotions and what they choose to bring into the
exactly.
world with them, so
Facts.
I don't want to see my kids that way. And my kids, their father, their biological father, he's not a bad person. He's a great guy, great personality, got a lot of great qualities, but he's got issues.
Right.
He's struggled with addiction and some mental health issues in his own upbringing. And I've really tried to instill in my kids how to, you know you can take the good from people and leave the rest. We don't have to take on, everything that to have a relationship with a person, you don't have to take
Absolutely
on all
not.
their problems.
No.
So that, and it's tricky with kids, right? Especially when you're looking at these parent dynamics. I think your kids come out just pre-programmed to love you, and you got to really work to fuck that
Some
up.
facts.
But
Facts.
um, so I guess, you know, that's what I would like to talk about is how do you have these grown-up conversations with your kids, in a way that they can understand. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that to this day I try to, you know, work on. It's like, yeah, that person might got this or that going on, but you know, let's just
Absolutely.
enjoy this part, you know?
Yeah. I made a pact, an agreement with my stepson, right? I'm more like the the more aggressive one. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
when I had enough, I had enough. I didn't know how to channel that out and into a way where I could get I could reach him. So my
Yeah.
was like, oh, you what the I'm angry, right?
Yeah.
So one day we had he had did something and I had to scold him for it. Like I said, this is my stepson. This ain't my blood son. So like, there's a thin line there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that line
Yeah.
because I know that I have kids and I know I drawn that line to men in their lives. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
don't ever you put your hand on my child. Period.
Yeah.
You feel me? And because you cannot deviate the difference. You know what I'm saying? Because like, you know, some people can't deviate the difference that it's just somebody else's child. And their mindset may be like, I'm gonna try to hurt this kid because he ain't mine, right? So like, no, I drew a line there. And I made that line clear, you know what I'm saying, to my kid's mother, and also one time with the man in their life, you know, my oldest son's life. You know, he has a father. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate what you're doing, you know, filling in the gap while I'm not there, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I also taught my kids at a young age to respect their elders, you know what I'm saying? And you are an elder, and he will respect you in that way. But when putting your hands on him, I think that need to come from his mother. You know what I'm saying? Not you. So my stepson, he's like, you know, I asked him, I said, hey, so what do you think, how would you like for me to, you know, to have a conversation with you? What bothers you? What shuts you down? He said, when you yell. I do not like when you yell. And my wife is soft spoken. She can go in there and, you know, be 100% angry, but be like cordial about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, I catch you doing something in my house and you know damn well you should be doing. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was like, you need to go talk to him. You know, because I'm like, so I was like, all right, I'll make a deal with you. You do X, Y, and Z, and I won't yell at you. Right? When we come to conversation, I would keep my voice in a calm and collected manner. But you cannot longer break the rules that's in this house to that degree ever again. I'm not gonna put his business out there what he did, you know what I'm saying? But he did some foul stuff, right? Something that I wouldn't allow my own kids to do in this house. Right? And my daughters know to this day, you may not, you know, not the younger one. The younger one loves, you know, my wife. The older one's still, you know, on the fence. You know what I'm saying? But you would never ever disrespect my wife. As your stepmother, as a woman, you would never in your life disrespect her ever in front of me. And I might not find out you're doing it at, you know, behind my back either. You know what I'm saying? So because it's the same, you know, the same result is gonna happen. You feel me? I'm coming for your neck. Yeah. Because I would not no one disrespect you like that. So I'm holding the two people in my life, the three women in my hand, my wife and my two daughters. That's my world. And then my stepdaughter on top of that, that's my world. You won't do that to them. Yeah. So you can't. If the same rules apply to them as apply to you as well. You feel me? So I told him, like, I made an agreement with him. You know what I'm saying? And he broke the rule again. And I sent his mom in there, right? Because I was livid. I'm talking like where I was like, okay. And being a boy, you know what I'm saying, a young man, and then having a stepfather is so. Ashley, I'm telling you, you got yours growing up. When these boys feel like my mom would say, you can start to smell yourself. You know what I'm saying? Your funk is really getting funky because you grow. You know what I'm saying? You smelling yourself, right? So I'm like, and my stepson's big, bro. I'm talking, he's like 6'2". You know what I'm saying? Like, if he wanted to, he probably could hurt me, but that's another story. That's never, we know he knows there well he can never cross that line, right? So, but I just tell him, like, you know what I'm saying, like, bro, like, you understand. So he did something. He asked for something, right? Has to go stay at some friend's house, and that was my moment. What he did the second time, right? So I said, let me tell you something. And it was perfect because it was a teaching moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, you always asking for something. Yeah. You got your hand up always, but you ain't picking up stuff. You ain't cleaning around the house. You ain't making sure your room is clean 24 hours. You ain't making sure your bathroom is clean 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? You got your hand out to receive something, but you ain't never reciprocating it back to give us anything. Right? So you asking, say, I said, you have the audacity to come in here and ask for something after what you did to my house? I said, oh, you thought you weren't gonna get this ass whooping. Oh, you about to catch this ass whooping today, dog. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I laid in it, but I was more calm and collected about it. Yeah. Right? I was just like, I had time to, you know, but I let him know. And I'm like, that's the way you talk to him. That's the way you talk to your son. Yeah. I don't have to be, rawr, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, you cannot continue to live in this house and break those type of rules. You have options.
Yeah.
You can go live with your dad. You know what I'm saying? You have options. You can go to college.
Yeah.
You have options. You know what I'm saying? But you can't do it here. And I said, I tell them, am I making myself clear? Because this is the line. This is it. You do this again, you're done. There's no conversation. I would take everything in your room and it'll be out there on that curb because you can't stay here no more. You feel me?
The way I try to explain it to my kids is like, you know, I'm a barber. I know you've been a barber too, but I'm like, if I went to work, if I showed up at work and I just sat down and I didn't cut hair all day, would I get paid? No,
absolutely not.
So I tell my kids, it's more than just existing. You don't just get to show up and receive. If you don't do the work, you don't get paid.
You don't get paid.
And that's your currency. You want something from me, you got to do your job. And your job is XYZ, whether it's cleaning up after yourself, going to school, getting up on time, doing your homework, whatever the case may be. And I always repeat that because I feel like, that lesson is deep. It's not just about having respect for your space and your things and the things that are provided for you, but the fact that this world, nothing is free. Nothing. You don't get anything just because you fucking exist. Like, you got to work for it.
Facts.
And I would get fired if I went to work. Hey, I showed up.
And the thing is, you already gave them everything they need, right? You give them a roof over their head, food in their stomach, and come on. So anything you do extra, right? Like, that's your payment right there. You know what I'm saying? That is your payment. I'm like,
you just fucking yourself.
Exactly.
You just fucking yourself over. It's not me. Thanks. I don't care. I'm not sad if you don't get to go do XYZ. You're sad.
No, you're sad. It don't bother me none. You know what I'm saying? It don't.
I'm like,
but let me ask you, but them your babies, you do get sympathized with them, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, have you like punished your child, put him in a punishment, and took him out of punishment because you felt sorry for it?
Well, listen, my younger son, I know it's kind of controversial, but like, he's technically been diagnosed with something called disruptive mood disorder, and he's ADHD, right? And being his mom is a blessing, but it has been harder than parenting my older son. I've had to figure out a whole new way to reach him and interact with him and get, my older son, he's got a firm grip on like consequences, oh, I do this happens. But my younger son, he's like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna do it again. Like, it just doesn't work. So, I did a parenting class and, cause I was really like, what else can I do? I want to be a better mom. I don't want to always be at odds with my child or always feel like I'm just disciplining and I don't want to live in that space. That's not healthy, So I've actually learned that giving them an opportunity to earn things back is more effective than just it being like gone, Right. So you say, have I ever punished them and felt some kind of way? Kind of, but what I'll do is I'll give them a new task or a new way to earn whatever that is that they're, wanting.
And I think that comes in
because
I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I think that though I've seen that has been more effective, like in terms of, getting results versus me just something being, finitely taken away. It's been more.
That's what I'm saying though, Ashley.
I get what I'm looking for.
You like rewarding. This is what I disagree, right? Because rewarding someone for something they should be automatically doing, right?
Yeah.
So my theory is this, right? Like, what I'm saying? Like, I've done it. I felt sorry and, gave him back his PlayStation 5. I've done that before. You're saying, and don't tell your mom, you know what I'm saying? but try to, reward him in like, like kids like this was, for instance, right? Kids like, hey, I got all A's in school, right? I should get something for that. No, my friend, listen.
Yeah, I don't do that either.
Listen, my friend, you do not get rewarded for something you should be doing in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to school to, trying to hustle me out of money, you know what I'm saying? Then you should really learn business ethics. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to be a good business person. You should be something that deal with a lot of money because you have an ethic that you're using to persuade your parents to give you something back in return. No, you living in this house is your return policy. You know what I'm saying? You living in this, getting food at this table is a return policy. You know what I'm saying? This is my return. I'm giving you a reward. Right? For your good behavior. Yeah. Because you remember back in the old days, you act out at dinner, go to your room because you won't have nothing to eat today.
Shit. My dinner went right in the trash.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Like
if I chewed with my mouth open,
can you imagine us doing that stuff right now at this age? Oh my God, bro, you going to jail. You're going to jail for neglect.
I used to yell a lot as well, and I didn't like hearing myself. I'd get annoyed, with myself. I'm like, I don't want to come home and be, in that mood. Like, so, I just figured out like workarounds. I'm gonna ask you once, maybe twice. I'll tell them, oh, it's time to get off the game or this or that. If they don't do it, I just turn off the internet. I cut the Wi-Fi.
Exactly.
Like, there's just consequences. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and go, turn it off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not doing that.
I'm telling you, we become soft, dog. You know like that. Let's rewind that, because I'm like, I hear you, right? But me, no, I would go in there and chop the cores up. I swear to God. Let me tell you the story, right? So my guy, he was getting, stagnant. You know what I'm saying? Like graduating from high school, now you want to, he said you want to take the summer off. And summer off is like, you going to go work, homie. You know what I'm saying? You going to go get a job, right?
You're going to get a job.
This ain't a place you come. This ain't a summer vacation. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, he like, staying up late at night playing the video games. My PlayStation 5. You know what I'm saying? He got a computer in his room. You know what I'm saying? Like a gamer computer. Yeah. Real nice setup. He had my PS5 playing my game at 8. So I took the whole box. Cables and all, right? Put in my room. And I'm like, why am I punishing myself? That's what I did. I put the PlayStation down there and took the remotes.
Yeah.
I was like, let you look at it, let you marinate on that, right? I was so upset because like this dude turned my whole PlayStation into his own console. Had his own games on there. Like, bro, like there's lines. See, and what we're doing as parenting is like sometimes we fuck that up. Because we're not preparing them. Like if you go to college, right? You stay in a dorm, and you have a roommate, and your roommate's okay with you playing this, PlayStation 5. That don't mean you put your own shit on there without his permission. You see what I'm saying? These are lines. If you don't teach them here,
that's not entitlement.
He's like, my stepdad didn't do shit. Man, stepdad didn't get upset. Why would this dude get upset? He cooler than my stepdad, right? No, it's the principles, bro. And that's the one
not yours.
Right. That's one thing we don't teach our kids. We teach them, not to do this, not to touch that, not to go there, but we don't teach them principles. Right? Because principles is what sets it apart from like, saying that border, that boundary that you don't ever cross. Principles like you said, your kid come home, get off the game. It's the principles. I shouldn't have to tell you that for one time.
Right.
It's a principle that you should have a mental clock in your head. Right? We already set this. That it's school night. You need to be in bed by 10 o'clock. The principal, I shouldn't have to tell you this.
No, for sure.
You see what I'm saying?
To be honest with you, I feel like over time, like for us, it was effective. Like I don't really have to do that anymore. But they know I will. You know what I'm saying? So like there's definitely a threshold. They know like how much mom's willing to, how far they can.
And I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing that. I'm saying like in the general, like it's as we grew up, there was my mom had to tell me twice. My friend, listen to me, Ashley. There was never a time my mom had asked us twice.
Because I know your mom.
Right. So like, ain't no like, bro. I got beat so bad one time because she like told me to get off the phone, right? And she said, hang the phone. I'm like, hey, I gotta go. And the phone wasn't hung up on the wall. We had them wall phones. You know what I'm saying? They had the big long cord and the other receivers on the wall. I didn't even get to the wall close. She like hit me in the head with a broomstick. I said, get off the phone. I didn't say nothing else because everything came out of my mouth was talking back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh. So I went and hung the phone and she gave me the most. And at the end of the day, I didn't tell her this years later. I said, man, I was hanging the phone up. You hear what I just said? Years later, we didn't have that authority to come talk to our mom about stuff, and that's not saying that's a good thing, but let me tell you something. In our household, there's no drug addicts, There's no people in prison. I'm talking about my four sisters and me. My
Yeah.
mom raised us with a stern, you know, fist, but it worked out for her benefit. You know what I'm saying? And our benefit is what is that we learn how to, you know, be cordial and be less disciplined than she was with our kids. You're saying like like do what you don't do what you was done to you to do unto others. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, like you feel that yelling is it annoys you, is it drains you for doing it. So you learn that because like you probably had that process growing up, that all this yelling, all this, you know what I'm saying, like. So my thing is that our kids needs to know there's every action is a reaction attached to it. You see what I'm saying?
Or a consequence.
A consequence. But that reaction to me is like you doing it right. You showing them other options, right? Other avenues to take and build that up.
I think we take, that's what I think people do, is I think we take, our own experiences, and we either go all the way in the other direction, or we emulate those things, and I feel like I'm trying to bring kind of it together, right? Because I think there's definitely things like that my parents did right, but there's definitely shit they did wrong. You know what I'm saying? And like, so trying to find a way to meet in the middle. But yeah, we live in this generation where kids are soft, and that respect for authority isn't there. The respect for their parents isn't there. Everything's a joke, and it's
you said
like,
a very strong word there, though. You said a strong word there. Soft. Elaborate on that. I want to hear from a woman's point of view. Elaborate on that, what you said, because men look at that like in a different fashion than what you may see it, right? Because soft to me, go ahead, tell me about it. What do you mean by that?
Well, I know that this would probably have to be like a whole other episode, so I won't get too far into it. But even in my generation, I'm about to be 35 this year. We had the internet and we had cell phones, but the computer was at home. I didn't have a computer in my pocket all day, and I didn't talk on my phone till after 9 when my minutes were free. You know what I'm saying?
Say that.
These kids now, everything is live, and I feel like they use that to influence other people, right? So like they're getting out of these situations, like these kids recording teachers, and putting this spin on shit, and rather than helping someone who needs help, kids are fighting, they just pull out their phone, they record it, you know what I mean? And it's kind of affected, like, I just think they're what they can get away with, everything is on display. And then in return, I feel like adults are less quick to met out consequences because they know that they're on display, and you have to second guess, how do I put this kid in his place and not lose my job, or you know what I mean? And so it's just kind of a different, the respect isn't there, the respect for authority, for adults. And I could get into this, but it's
but that's a thing, though, right?
It's a whole other thing, but we're navigating that right now.
Absolutely,
with our kids.
You're seeing it right now in front of you play out. But also,
I got so pissed at my son. He recorded a fight on the school bus.
What?
And I said, "And what did you do? What did you do?" And he didn't do anything but pull his phone out and put it on Snapchat. And I was pissed, because I'm like, that's not what we do. In what world are you going to sit there and let this 12-year-old get his ass beat by a 15-year-old and not, that's not the kind of kid that I'm not proud of you for that. Like,
instead of helping out, they want to record. Screaming out, stop, or getting somebody to intervene. They rather record it, right? But like I said, every action has a reaction, right? So whatever that been in your ass, and someone whooping your ass, saying you be like, you want somebody to help you, but somebody got their cameras out. You know what I'm saying? Like, karma's a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Karma's real. But you know what I'm saying? So like,
but that does affect, though, like these interactions that these young people are having with police and other situations, right? They just don't even have that. Not to say that I feel like, again, I could get into this. I'm not, there's reasons why people don't respect certain authority, but for the most part, you get pulled over. you just follow the rules, you give your ID, everything is recorded, and these kids just have this idea that like they're entitled and for
Yes,
what? Like,
absolutely.
and we're fighting that. I feel that every day. Like, my son, he was
It's
failing a couple
scary.
classes this last year, and it's all my teachers. And I'm like, I don't care if you got the worst teacher in the world. You're not doing your fucking homework. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, there's just this entitlement and this softness. And yeah, and I think people are getting more afraid to discipline their kids in an effective way that they have respect, and that it matters. So I think we're going to see even more issues as that,
And
continues for sure.
me being an old head, right? Like we old heads think that it's because you spared the rod. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? Like the theory was,
Yeah.
spare the rod, spoil the child, spare the rod, spare the rod, spoil the child, right? So if you spare the rod, you spoil your child, right? And that's what this is the renovating mind that we are in now, right? We were told you hit your kid, you go to jail. You hit your kid, they
Yeah.
get taken away from you. See, it's a systematic thing that's taking place here, right? Because
Hmm.
some places that where in certain circumstances, sometimes that the iron hand needs to be put on that behind. You know what I'm saying? Because I tell my kids all the time, what I do to you, right? You think it's the worst, but when someone do it outside this house, do it to you, it's gonna be devastating, right? Because
Absolutely.
it's gonna be way worse than what I can do to you, right? Because I got love for you. I have a discipline
Yeah.
enough not to put it on you that hard. You know what I'm saying? Where they were like we were left marks. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. You know what I'm saying? Like it's you look upon it, and I'm gonna say it. My mom gave me permission to talk my heart, right? Sometimes that you know the whippings to me was like overboard. You feel me? And like,
Yeah.
but it was like once I learned her divineness of like it hurt her when you did things.
Yeah.
It hurt her spirit because like, what I'm saying? Like, and I felt that. Like, what I'm saying? I give you everything. My mom gave us what she could. I'm
Yeah.
able because with my mom's sweat and tears and her, the backbone of her mom, I would be able to become a better man and be able to provide my family with the finances that she couldn't, right? So when
Yeah.
you give someone like you gave your, I tell my stepson this all the time. I said, dude, it hurts me when I did like I've given this dude 2 or 3 pairs of Jordans. You know what I'm saying, out of my own stash. You know what I'm saying? I don't sent this dude to see his favorite rapper pay the $600 for one seat. You know what I'm saying, for himself. I don't took him to another country. I'm giving you so much of my sweat and blood going out there and working in this hot heat. Before I went into this office, right? Because having this office job, I was, sucking shit out of toilets. You know what I'm saying? Literally, you know what I'm saying? And I'm providing a roof over your head. And, you have the audacity to, do what you doing, bro. How dare you? It's
Yeah.
disrespectful. It's disrespectful. And I know that and I looked at my mom thinking that, we go in there and she like, we share some change over from, sending us to the store to get something. And I'll go get like 2 penny candies. When penny candy was a penny candy, like 1 cent per candy, you'll say I'll spend 2 cents. And she got a receipt and she going like, where's my 2 cents at? I'm not even kidding
Yeah.
you. And I got the
And
worst
you're like, oh, it's
ass
two
whooping,
cents.
bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was devastating because how dare you? We already struggling and you really steal from your. You see how it's different now than it was back then. Like you said, I was like 2 cents. What the? Wow. You can find 2 cents in the couch in the couch. You know what I'm saying? No, 2 cents is hard to come about back in them days.
Yeah.
Because your mother went already through the couches. She already went on these, all her the little plots that pennies and stuff and scrambled up to go get you a meal. I've been through them situations, bro. Like I've been through that starvation moment. You know what I'm saying? But my mom always made a way, so I can understand. Like she's doing it by herself. Like the beginning of this podcast about single parenting and co-parenting, she was doing this by herself. And how dare you take 2 cents from her? Now I understand that. Yes, mother, I gave you
Well, then
props.
there's
So
there's the love aspect too, and I feel like people show that differently, right? I know, like for me, maybe it's easier to be more openly loving, but some people, love makes you afraid, right? And you know, like I know the community I live in, we don't live in the best neighborhood, and I have mixed children, and there's a lot of kids out here doing some crazy shit, and like I tell my kids like sometimes I have to be tough on you at home because there's consequences that I can't protect you from, that
Exactly.
I can't save you from. And if you don't understand this shit at home, when you walk out the door, I'm terrified, you know? And so, and that shows up differently for people,
They don't
right? You
understand
know,
that.
and
They don't understand that though, Ashley.
it's
They don't understand that terror,
it's
that fear.
and not, you
Evident.
know, and but like for your mom, you know, that's why I can see why she's so hard on you guys. You think about
No,
where you live, the circumstances that, you know, it might have felt like a crazy ass whooping to you, but she's like, I fucking love you enough to,
exactly.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, you know what I mean? Because it could have been the other way. Just go outside.
exactly.
I don't care what you do. Go hang out with them boys. Go be a drug addict, you know, like,
Hey, I'm laughing
but we
because
don't always see shit that
yes,
way.
I'm laughing because me and my mom just had this conversation. Actually, she's like, I say one time, she's like, because you know she didn't. She said I didn't really put whoops and stuff on you, like you know what I'm saying, like sure I'm trying to beat you to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? And one time I said, man, one time you was whooping me. I was like, you kept telling me, I love you. I do this because I love you. I told myself, I didn't say it out loud, but I said it in my head, please stop loving me. If this is what loving me feels like, I don't want this love. You know what I'm saying? And she
Yeah.
started dying laughing because she never heard that coming out our mouths, but she's like, oh, I never thought of that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that reverse psychology that, you know, they give
Yeah.
that generation curse that she's giving you, thinking that this is what love is. And like you learn from
Yeah.
it that I don't have to take a belt to my kid or take an extension cord to my kid to make them understand me or listen to me. See, throughout our lives, we you know what I'm saying, like some of us took it, some of us didn't. You know what I'm saying? And that curse keep going on in people's generation. To me, I got to the point where like, if I gotta put my hands on you, you can no longer live in this house. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like that to my son get me to that point, my stepson get me to that point where I think I had to put my hands on him, he's gotta go. I'm not gonna stoop to that level. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, it's like you have done the wrong. Now we got that upset, and I think that's what parenting comes to. We lose the boundaries in ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And you found the boundaries, and some of us still looking for them boundaries. You know, I found it, but some people are still looking for that boundary. Like, where do I draw the line at? Right? And seriously, like, you know, it's time is coming. But let me just say this real quick. If you find parenting hard, right, it's just a reflection of what, you know, your parents, how they parented you. And when you looked at that, like, you know what I'm saying, you can learn from that parenting. You, like my mom used to tell us all the time, learn from my mistakes. Don't follow my mistakes. Learn from my mistakes. Be a better person. Be better what I've done for you, right? And I'm like, that's what's the point of this, you know, segment was about, like co-parenting. You know what I'm saying? Being a single parent, being a, you know, stepfather, stepmother, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, it's like you have to reflect on your upbringing. And if it's bad, then you learn from that. You do what the opposite what that was. If it was good, you follow that, you know what I'm saying? Follow that and put your own little twist in it, right? So you want to say something before we leave these people with these thoughts?
I just want to keep encouraging people to talk about stuff like this. I feel like, you know, we still 2025 getting over that stigma of, you know, men getting help, getting therapy, you know, working through generational trauma and curses and stuff like that. And, you know, talk to your kids, man. And, you know, that's the last thing I'd like to say is, you know, even when I do fuck up in my parenting, I apologize to my kids. I shouldn't have maybe reacted that way. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I feel like we teaching people that we just people too, right? We all just trying to figure it out. But yeah, talk to your kids. Normalize the conversation. I feel like it's so important. Men's mental health.
Mental health. And that's why you sound like a commercial at the end of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, talk to your kids. It's so many commercials. It was like that. Talk to your kids. Have the conversation. Have you talked to your kid lately? Man, do that.
Yeah.
Because you're going to learn a lot from that conversation. You know what I'm saying? You'll get a lot from that conversation because kids are, once they know they done wrong, or once they know they feel what they did to you was wrong, they have that sensitive because it's the love that you've given them. They realize that it's all out of love, right? So, and with that saying, out of love, hit that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hit that subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Hey, make this a follow. You know what I'm saying? 2 seconds. 2 seconds. I don't even think it takes 2 seconds. Actually, I think it's like a millisecond. You know what I'm saying? It's hey,
bloop.
Boop, right there. Boop. You got us, right? So please
subscribe.
subscribe. You know what I'm saying? And also comment on these conversations. You know what I'm saying? We also love your feedback. You know what I'm saying? And hey, we love you guys. You know what I'm saying? Ashley, I love you. I'm so glad that, you know what I'm saying, you made this decision to come on this podcast with me and let's do this. So hey, it's gonna be a lot of conversations with me and Ashley. You know what I'm saying? So stay tuned. Hit that like, hit that subscribe.